Brought to you by Mr. Pros TV, streaming from Tempe, Arizona. And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, Jordan Nielsen here, host of Real Estate Pros on Mr. Pros TV, and today we are in Tempe, Arizona in our studio, and we have Chad Arend of HomeSmart and the Arend team, two-time guest.
It's our
second round, so thanks for taking time out of your busy day.
Always fun conversation, man.
And joining me on Real Estate Pros. So for those watching that don't know who you are, give us a little bit of background about yourself, what you did prior to real estate, what interested you in getting into real estate, and then we'll go from there.
So I'm Chad Arend with now HomeSmart. I just changed brokerages a couple weeks ago. I opened up a new branch location in North Phoenix. So I've been around for a little while. I got in real estate in 2005 when everybody else did. I've used the same comment over and over. It was a good time then I got bad.
Did you say 2005? I think you're like the third guest today that started in 2005.
Everybody did. So everybody got into it. It was easy and it was really profitable, right? You just make a lot of money. And so then the market tanked and went through that process and now picking back up. So before that, I was actually in finance, worked for a couple banks, had a securities license, so more of the market advice. I was with JP Morgan, with USAA, a couple of those on the investment side.
Hey, man, that's something we have in common. I was at Wells Fargo.
Okay. Yeah, so and the numbers transition goes well into the real estate side.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
whether or not it's mortgage conversations or just investment ratios. So pretty solid there. So I grew up in North Phoenix, so I've always stayed close to home. So my mom did real estate for 20 years by the time I got into it in 2005. So it was always natural. I was always around the postcards and the lock boxes and touring properties. So pretty easy transition. So I've been doing it ever since. I've been full-time since 2005. So now I've got a team of 5. So there's 7 of us in the office. And we're kind of in that growth mode, which brings along a different set of challenges than 2005 on trying to get deals. Now the deals are there. Now how to expand as a larger team.
Right.
So
hot market, seller's market. What are you seeing out there right now?
I'd say probably in between. I keep hearing over and over, it's seller's market. And then I was on Realtor Tour this morning, and there's a dozen agents that are like, I'm not getting showings on my listings. So I don't think it's as heavily weighted as what everybody kind of likes to say.
Sure.
I would say the stats are certainly seller weighted. Time on market is relatively low. Inventory is low. But I think we got a lot of greedy buyers out there that are just trying to push the envelope too much and trying to put on a product that's not all that great. And as agents, we kind of need to be careful of those because they're trying to throw stuff up against the wall just to kind of see if it sticks. So,
right.
But overall, I think it's fairly seller weighted to neutral. We're still seeing product move. Now's the time of year it's going to move. We'll kind of come see once it slows down in the wintertime to see if we're still where we need to be, but we still have to be professionals right now in order for things to move.
So this is a new change for you at HomeSmart, and then a new branch. So talk to us a little bit about your branch. What's your vision for it, since it's still relatively. No, you said only a couple weeks.
Yeah. We're like literally week 2. I actually got my license.
That's cool,
my branch license yesterday. So
awesome.
We just taped that to the wall. I don't have a frame on the wall yet for that. So that's we're super new on that. It's a spot. I mean, the office started because I had to get out of the house because I have kids.
Right.
And so that was the point of the office, and now it's grown to we've got a conference room, we've got a training facility. So there's my full-time office managers in there. I'm in there 4 or 5 days a week. So it's an opportunity for us to get in front of our new agents that are brand new, train them, show them the ropes a little bit, go through those systems that we all have to use every day. And they don't get any training from a license standpoint. They'll tell you how to get a license, but they're not going to teach you how to actually be functional.
Right.
So that's kind of the focus right now, is that keeping agents in, doing what we need to do in order to get out there and produce. So it's a small shop, 19th Avenue in Deer Valley, semi-industrial. So we're not going to get any walk-in traffic. So it's basically a spot for us to
it's a lead gen
collaborate.
Yeah,
it is. So it's inexpensive for us to grow, and that way we can put as much out there to get that production. Whereas the the brick and mortar doesn't really exist.
Yeah, that's exciting. But you called it a small shop. The office may be a small shop, but HomeSmart is still the number one in Arizona by a long shot too.
So I grew up with realty executives, like literally grew up with realty executives because that's where my mom was at. So I got in realty executives in 2005, and that was at a time where the brand, everybody would tell you meant something, and it still does. That hasn't gone away. But as we were just talking about, the relationship is certainly king. I don't think as many people look at the broker anymore than they used to,
right?
For sure. So HomeSmart was a good spot for me as far as on the costs and expenses. It's minimal. We have all of our in-house systems that we use that fuel our business. So from the broker standpoint, I'm really happy to be where we're at because they give me a lot of flexibility. They allow me to open that branch where I want to be. But at the same time, it allows us to use the things that have gotten us to be productive. And that's the things that I built, whether or not it's CRM, transaction management, lead generation systems. So that's that aspect. And, go from there. So I needed that flexibility. I needed that minimal expense to pump it into our team and get growth out of that.
Right.
So.
And when you came in here this afternoon, you were like, let's talk about getting back to basics. So first off, what are the basics? What does that mean, getting back to basics? We didn't talk about them.
No.
I wrote it down here, back to basics.
This is what I think agents kind of get away from, and we're talking about. So I've been going to social media classes for the last 6 weeks, little camps here and there. Everybody has that shiny object we were kind of talking about. Title reps, lenders, brokers, they all want to tell you that here's our next best class, that you're going to get a bunch of deals by doing this. I'm just not seeing it, man.
Right.
I'm seeing the same stuff as before, and it is creating this relationship, maintaining this relationship, you as a client knowing what I do, how I do it, and if you are willing to tell your friend, your spouse, somebody else about what I did for you, and that's where the business is.
Right.
So the basics is going to be making sure we present all of our properties professionally, accurately, at a premium level, because that's going to drive in buyers to buy them. Further, what's going to drive us buyers in that we can convert to other properties if that's not the right one. Then on the buyer side, it's making sure that we take care of our clients. We get them the right properties. We get them the right properties at the right price, and then we can tell everybody what we did. So I want it. It sounds like it should be a lot more complicated than that, but at the end of the day, is it? I mean, you've talked to a lot of agents.
It's the basics, and there's always shiny objects throughout there. Somewhat appealing, to do things. It's let's go do video, let's do this, let's do that. But at the end of the day, real estate is a relationship business, and honestly, most businesses are relationship based. And kind of my perspective is, I absolutely do think it is important to know how to tell your story, and if somebody is interested in hiring you, they can go to your website, or they can go somewhere and kind of see what you're about, how you help people, what your perspective is on things. So obviously the story behind what you do and how you sell or what service you provide is important.
Oh, for sure. And don't get me wrong, when I say back to the basics, I'm not eliminating all of the
I wasn't saying that.
Yeah, all the aspects.
I'm just saying, because we were talking before, you had this social media push.
Yeah.
I'm saying that story is separate from
correct.
Then being bought into what at least I'm seeing, and what we were talking about before is about 80%. I'm always thinking what are 80% of people doing? I'm gonna try to do something else, because then it becomes kind of like the norm.
Yep.
And I asked you, I said, what's the 80% that you're seeing? And I had thought of it because people were saying it, and
everybody
you said
says
social media.
That's what everybody does, and that's the conversation. And again, I don't want to sit here and say we're not going to do it, or there's not value to it, or it's those 80% shouldn't be doing it. What I'm seeing more from agents that I'm surrounded with in these classes, or whatever the case is, that's what they feel is going to keep them in the business for the next 20 and 30 years. And that's the part that scares me. Should you be on Facebook, on Instagram, on whatever the case is? Absolutely, you should be doing that stuff. And you should be doing it often, because 80% of your clients are there too. So you got to definitely be there. That being said, let's not forget about the stuff that has kept real estate around for the last 60, 80 years.
Right.
And that's getting in front of people. So it's a good opportunity to connect with people, but you got to close at the end of the day. You need to be able to establish that relationship and keep that relationship. Because if you're my client, I expect you to buy 2, 3, 4 homes in your lifetime. So, I need that recurring business basically. And now that I've been in long enough, that's the start that I definitely start to see more value in that. And I think the newer agents that are buying into social media is certainly there, but I just don't know how much they're maintaining that client for life.
Right.
Not to go on the cliche of that client for life kind of attitude, but it is what it is. I mean, it's been around. So, I want to stop looking at the stuff that is, I got to do this and this and this, and then, just connecting up with everybody.
Right. At the end of the day, most businesses are in the relationship businesses, and it is how you connect with your client base. Social media is the thing and it is a tool, but you also got to look at all the tools involved, and you got to say, am I getting the return on my time on that? Because we know the reality of 2018. A lot of you can get addicted to that, and you're just like, it's like a leash, You can never get too far away from your phone and stuff like that. Is the return on your time, is it better spent on other I don't know. You have to look at it yourself, but I think it's important to kind of look at the big picture of things and say, what, is it big driver for me? If your intention is to drive business, look at it from a business metric perspective, just like anything else. It's not like, if I don't do this, I'm going to be irrelevant in 5 years. It's kind of like the mentality of something.
But it's tough to quantify that, though, because, say we do Google pay-per-click.
Right.
So I can look at that and I can say, okay, I spent this much a month and it generated this many leads, and I expect this breakdown in leads, and so my profit margin is going to be this. I can do that all day. It's the same for any other source. You look at social media, I can look and see how much I spend on it, but when you go to time, well, I'm sitting at a red light, and I like a post.
Hey, that's 5 seconds right there.
That's what I'm saying. So, how do you do that through the course of the day and, go, how much am I paying attention to it and how much am I getting out of it? It's so hard, man. And like I said, we did right now a 90-day push of we're going to be very, very active on social media. We're going to do everything that we need to be doing in order to match the algorithms that everybody tells us to do. And I feel like we've done a fairly good job. I'd say we're like a B+ job. So we could definitely be more active, more engaging. But, I don't know that we're going to be that much more profitable by getting to exactly what we need to do versus not that much more.
Right.
So I like what you said. It's a tool. It's not the business. It's a tool.
Right.
So it's just one more aspect that we need to be involved in.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I can't take away from this with clients and connecting with people.
So what other ways, getting back to basics, what are the other ways to connect with clients? What are you seeing out there? Because I know you're kind of a numbers guy. You like to track where things are coming from. Where are you seeing a lot of?
So 50% of my business last year was strictly referrals on previous clients. It was right at 50% of the number. It was like 35 transactions. So, and that was people that I talk to on a monthly to weekly basis. We send them cards to little items of value, things of that nature that are our top referrals. It's the Buffini method, basically. So we don't use that entire system. We do little pieces of it, but that's kind of a good set. So anybody that I feel is going to be keeping me in mind, we stay on top of mind, basically. So that's 50%. The other 50 are basically all of our little buckets, whether or not it's social media, it's open houses, it's telemarketing, it's direct mail, anything of that nature. So it's all broken down, kind of really small numbers, because you're not looking for the entire pie out of that. At least I'm not. There's plenty of agents that don't look at recurring business. Their marketing budget's probably just bigger than mine. But at any rate, so I think it really dials that. What I'm telling my agents is that whatever's comfortable and whatever they're good at is what they need to push as much as they can. I've got one guy that likes to be on the phone. He likes to telemarket. Drive it, man. We can get your phone numbers and he'll hit it. So I've got other people that just don't like to be on the phone. So they just might be sitting more open houses. If they have the budget, they're going to be sending out mailers, or they're going to be at networking groups and things like that. So whatever they want to do and whatever they're good at is what they need to use their business to do. Me personally, I'm kind of a mix of everything. I can be on the phone for an hour or two, but then I got to get out and go talk to somebody. So it might just be grabbing a beer with a client and kind of talking. So
yeah,
this is what I'd rather be doing. So
that's important to and you know what you brought up is that, you know, every agent is different than the previous. You can't like come in here and say, Chad's having success, I'm going to do exactly what Chad has and try to duplicate it and expect to be in the business 13 years from when you started, right? So you kind of got to figure out what you're good at, what your strength is, what's something that, you know, it's work at the end of the day, but maybe it's something that you enjoy. It's not like you go home and you're so stressed, you know, whether that's phone calls, open houses.
So, but at the same on the flip side, just to debate as you said what I said, but you can't always just do the easy stuff though. And so if I want to go have a beer with a previous client because he's been a referral, that's obviously the fun stuff. But at the end of the day, I know that that's only going to be part of my overall production.
Right.
Say maybe it's 50%, say maybe it's not.
Right.
But I know I got to do a little bit on the stuff that kind of hurt a little bit. I'm going to drive the phones for a bit.
Exactly.
So I got to try and get a little bit of every bucket.
At least not 100% of your time spent chasing activities that you hate. Like I don't love accounting. I don't love,
But in order to be functional as a business, you have to get it done. So unless you're just going to pay somebody a bunch of money to do it for you. So, I just kind of want to go back to some of the basics on some of that stuff, and it's doing not that shiny object as much. I'm spending a lot of time on, like I said, I was on a realtor tour this morning. I want to be on tours. I want to be out looking at Comfort Report. I want to be out kind of diving into the business side of it, and that's the work aspect of it. A lot of people don't like to do that stuff, but the basics of it, they want a professional, as you're having this conversation, that knows the market, that knows the area, that knows the homes, and it's all of those stuff that aren't the fun things of the business. You know, it's not like I'm gonna go show these $1 million homes, but that's the stuff that you're doing 75% of my time in order to make that other 25% closing. So that's the basics that I'm trying to get back to a little bit of just keeping it kind of simple. So when because you recently moved from Realty Executives to HomeSmart, what was the biggest, kind of reasoning? Why did you ultimately choose it, over all the other options out there? And your future for your HomeSmart. It wasn't really a big decision, to be honest with you. It was kind of simple. HomeSmart is like I said, is a minimalist brokerage. So I already have everything's in place. It was just a matter of changing the logo for the most part.
Right.
As a team internally, there is no change for us. So the setup is still exactly the same. So I went after brokerages that would basically do that same thing. And that was, I legally have to hang my license somewhere. If we open a brokerage down the road, maybe we're not there yet. So our growth pattern will kind of dictate that a bit. But for right now, it's a good spot for us to be because like I said, it allows me to do what I want to do from the team growth and the team production.
Right. And so from the perspective of an agent that may not be so happy with where they're at currently, what would entice them or what's the big pull to, have them consider maybe your office or HomeSmart in general?
Yeah, I think if it's, whether or not it's HomeSmart, it's our office or whatever the case is, I think that it's really easy to be on an island as an agent. And you've got so many different people pulling you in so many different directions. And again, I'm talking to some of the agents that they've got their new license, so they're getting hit with title companies and lenders, and everybody's talking about how they can help them out. And so you're getting pulled every different direction, and especially if you're brand new on your own, well, you have no idea what's right and what's wrong for the most part because you get your license, and again, they teach you the rules, but it's not the day-to-day process on how to make something actually happen. So you're really solo. So my initial advice would just go buy into a system that is comfortable for you, works the way you want to work, process is the same, kind of mimics what your personality is, and then go from there. I'm a grind it out kind of guy, and I expect the people around me to be kind of in the same fashion. We're not going to be out selling $1, $2, $3 million homes right now, and the agents that are coming on, that's not our demographic. We've got some great listings, some high-end listings, and we'll always do what we do on those. But I expect the agents to be working open houses. We're going to be hitting the phones. We're going to be pushing for those deals. So that's what I offer basically, and is we're going to push for the grind, and we're going to go from there. But for a new advice, I'd say find a mentor, find somebody that is been around, that works similar to you, and then mold yourself based on that, but taking the things that you're good at.
Right.
So on our setup, we've got a high-end CRM that we use where we can keep in touch with everybody often. We can track them as we need. We have a solid lead capture site that when people do find us, as we're pushing out there, whether or not it's Google, social media, et cetera, when they get on, we can collect that data, and then we can take them in and try and convert them. So I have a ready package that if an agent is new and wants to kind of regrow their self, they can basically take the systems that we already have in place and just focus on the things that they want to do and what they're good at, because the rest of the stuff is done.
Right.
It's already production.
So if an agent watching this right now, or a buyer or a seller's watching this and they want to reach out to you, what's the best way to reach out?
My cell phone's always number one, 602-740-2074. Text, cell phone. You can drop me an email at chad@thearendteam.com. You can check out our website at thearendteam.com. Got our list of agents, kind of a little bit about who we are and how we operate, and it's all there. So, or again, just stop by our new office.
Did you say that? What was the URL again?
Thearendteam.com.
The Arend Team with one R,
Yeah.
AREND.com.
Team.com.
Team.com.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So go see thearendteam.com for more information. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to join me on Real Estate Pros.
Always appreciate it.
And we will see you guys on the next episode.